Joe Burrow didn't even need to throw a football to trend again. One camera pan during the Bengals' Week 6 matchup was all it took. There he was, post-injury, hoodie on, hands in pockets, but the internet saw only one thing: that hair. Longer, heavier, hanging down past his brows like a curtain hiding his eyes. Within minutes, screenshots flooded X. Comments ranged from emo QB era to Burrow auditioning for a mid-2000s band. It wasn't his recovery people dissected. It was the aesthetic shift. Even his usually loyal fanbase split in half. Half nostalgic, half horrified. Someone captioned a viral clip: "Joe Burrow's bangs entered concussion protocol." It racked up 1 million views overnight. But what caught analysts off guard wasn't the look. It was the timing. A quarterback known for crisp suits, Cartier shades, and deliberate presentation suddenly letting it all go? To some, it felt like a quiet statement. To others, a total meltdown of image control. Whatever it was, the internet turned it into a spectacle. Burrow's sideline return became less about health updates and more about a hair saga no one saw coming. The photos spread faster than game highlights. Burrow's hair, half-shadowing his eyes, looked nothing like the guy who once walked into stadiums in tailored suits and diamond chains. This version felt undone, almost poetic. But the NFL audience isn't built for poetry. Within hours, fans began splicing clips of him into emo music videos. "Tell me why he looks like he's about to drop the saddest mixtape of 2025. One post read. It got retweeted by players, reporters, and even brand accounts chasing engagement. Then the comparisons rolled in: Jon Snow, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 3, and early Justin Bieber. Memes layered on memes until Burrow's name trended higher than the actual game score. Reports claim his PR team didn't anticipate the reaction, scrambling to redirect the conversation toward focus and recovery. Too late. The narrative was already in the hands of fans, armed with screenshots. Some claimed the look symbolized frustration, injury, isolation, and bleeding into style. Others thought it was rebellion, a soft protest against the perfect image machine the NFL builds around its stars. Whatever it meant, Burrow's sideline hair became the league's most viral moment of the month. And the first time a haircut, not a highlight, dominated Monday's sports talk. By midweek, the jokes evolved into theories. Analysts on sports radio were half laughing, half speculating. Was Joe Burrow's vision literally blocked by his own hair? One clip even froze on a moment where he brushed his bangs aside, captioned, "QB1 struggling against the real defense, his fringe." It hit 1 million views before halftime highlights were even posted. But not everyone mocked him. A faction of fans reframed it as a rebirth arc. Injury-era Burrow is just unlocking his mysterious phase. One viral comment read. Others said he was pulling a mid-season metamorphosis, comparing it to when actors grow a beard after a career pivot. Rumors suggest he might be teasing something bigger, a new image deal, possibly tied to a grooming or lifestyle brand. Sports pages began to notice the sudden shift in his off-field wardrobe. Looser fits, more vintage, and fewer logo-heavy outfits. The shift felt intentional, or at least suspiciously aligned with trend cycles. Some pointed out that the NFL's most brand-conscious player doesn't accidentally grow out his hair during prime camera season. Whatever his plan, Burrow had turned what should have been a quiet recovery period into a fashion subplot. The irony? He hadn't said a single word about it. Inside the Bengals facility, the tone was reportedly different. Teammates joked about the hair during film review, whispering nicknames like QB Curtain and Joe Blowout. One insider claimed a coach half-seriously told him, "Cut it before Hard Knocks gets hold of that tape." Burrow just smirked. According to locker room chatter, he brushed off the teasing with the same calm he uses after a sack. Cool, unreadable, a little detached. But behind that calm, reports suggest the team's PR wing wasn't as amused. The Bengals have built Burrow's image around precision and polish, clean fades, luxury accessories, stoic composure. The sideline look broke that pattern. One source told The Sun that media handlers quietly floated the idea of a trim for the cameras, fearing the internet's fixation might outshine game prep updates. Still, Burrow refused to comment or change a thing. That silence became its own statement. Fans read it as rebellion against the NFL's tight brand control. Others saw burnout, a player disengaging from the constant image maintenance the league demands. Whatever the motive, Burrow had crossed an invisible line between athlete and anti-aesthetic symbol, and the cameras couldn't stop zooming in. The fashion world moved fast. Within 48 hours, style blogs turned Burrow's sideline hair into think piece material. One GQ-style column called it deliberate chaos, claiming it marked the end of his ice-out quarterback phase. Vogue's sports desk wrote that the look blurred the line between recovery and reinvention. Suddenly, Burrow wasn't just a meme. He was a case study in masculine rebranding. Stylists dissected every frame, noting the undone hair, the slouch in his hoodie, the subtle rejection of the curated luxury image he'd built since LSU. A few argued it wasn't random at all, just a calculated shift toward authenticity. Everyone's trying too hard to look effortless, one fashion editor wrote. Burrow actually pulled it off by accident, or genius. Then came the speculation spiral. Fashion insiders claimed he'd been approached by a streetwear label testing a post-luxury campaign. Others thought he was signaling fatigue with the high-maintenance image that turned him into a brand before he hit 30. Whatever the truth, the aesthetic pivot hit harder than a touchdown pass. Burrow's haircut wasn't just hair anymore. It was narrative currency. By week's end, Burrow's hair had become a full-blown content ecosystem. TikToks used slow-mo sideline clips over heartbreak songs. Ex-users made fake shampoo ads with taglines like, "For when your comeback needs volume." Reddit threads ranked top 10 emo Joe moments, as if he'd dropped an album instead of watching a game. The memes piled up, but Burrow didn't post a thing. No replies, no clarifications, no press quips. Just silence. That quiet only amplified the storm. Fans began projecting meanings onto it. Some said he was leaning into the mystery. Others swore it was calculated PR minimalism. A few NFL insiders hinted his team decided the silence was smarter than damage control. Every day he stayed quiet, the engagement grew. The hair wasn't just a look anymore. It was a cultural Rorschach test. Even major brands began to slip into the trend. A hair care company reposted a meme with, "We can help Joe" in the caption. Another player, joking during a live stream, said, "If I showed up like that, my agent would tackle me." Still, the internet kept feeding itself. Burrow had done nothing, and somehow that was everything. Sports media couldn't decide if Joe Burrow was trolling everyone or reinventing himself. What started as a sideline meme had snowballed into a marketing debate. Analysts wondered out loud, was this just a bored athlete leaning into chaos, or a masterclass in subtle control? PR experts on podcasts pointed out how perfectly timed it all seemed. No interviews, no denials, just pure speculation feeding itself. Each day he stayed silent, the headlines wrote themselves. Rumors spread that his team had quietly shifted narrative strategy. Let the public fixate on the hair while he recovered in peace. A calculated diversion, some said. Others thought he'd simply stopped caring about optics altogether, breaking from the hyper-groomed NFL image that once defined him. The truth sat somewhere in the tension, an athlete smart enough to know that mystery sells. By this point, every sideline shot became content. A flick of his hair, a smirk behind the hoodie, millions of views, 0 words. Fans joked he'd mastered passive PR. Critics said it was arrogance. Either way, Burrow had done what few injured stars manage. He stayed relevant without saying a single DMN thing. When the memes hit peak saturation, the marketing world started circling. Reports claim multiple grooming and lifestyle brands quietly reached out to Burrow's team after seeing the traction. One insider from a Cincinnati agency hinted that at least 2 companies pitched hair-related partnerships within 72 hours of the viral blow-up. Suddenly, what began as a joke haircut looked like the start of a new sponsorship pipeline. Fashion scouts said the timing was perfect. Burrow's image had evolved from polished prodigy to unpredictable icon. Brands love volatility when it trends. Analysts tracking his engagement noted a 40% spike in mentions across digital channels, with search interest in Joe Burrow hair rivaling major playoff stats. Even if no deals were signed, the message was clear: controversy converts. Whispers also suggested Burrow's camp might be testing leverage, gauging how far cultural chaos can stretch before official partnerships roll in. If true, that would mark a rare play in the athlete marketing world, letting virality do the negotiations. And in this case, Burrow's silence may have earned him more than any post-game quote ever could. By the end of the week, Joe Burrow's haircut had outperformed the actual games. SportsCenter segments, meme compilations, even fashion reels. His name stayed in rotation while other storylines faded. He didn't post, didn't explain, didn't blink. Just existed inside the noise he accidentally, or maybe deliberately, created. The irony cut deep. A quarterback known for control lost none of it by doing nothing at all. Fans stopped asking about his wrist. They debated his bangs. Comment sections turned into therapy threads about identity, burnout, and image fatigue. The haircut became more than a meme. It was a mirror for how fast fame mutates. One player on another team even joked, he got roasted into relevance. It wasn't wrong. Whatever the intent, the moment landed perfectly. Burrow didn't play a single down, but he owned the cultural scoreboard. The league tried to move on, but the internet had crowned a new archetype. Call it emo elite, call it chaos chic, call it whatever. Joe Burrow just watched it unfold, half hidden behind his hair, proving he didn't need to win a game to stay undefeated online. Burrow didn't need a touchdown, he just needed that hair. The internet can't stop talking, and this story's only getting messier. If you're here for the wildest athlete moments, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share this video so no one misses what's next. Control plus style, where the game never ends, even off the field.